Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to your weekly general taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for all of us, for the general energies, trends and themes for the week ahead. They are all in tuned or attuned to and with my intuitive message. So every week I go into my intuition and I ask for a message as an overarching frame or framework. Sometimes this plays out like a mini movie in my head. Sometimes it's like a thought or a word or an impression. Sometimes it's just a sentence, but I always condense that into a phrase effectively that will kind of speak to and sort of enhance the reading in some way. With that said, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your, or should I say all of us on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So this week's message, what I actually saw was well, there you go, the cards have spoken. All right, what I actually saw this week was it was like a suit, but it was being blown up, and the message that I got from this was it's being blown out of all proportion. All right, so what I will say to you is this week it is very possible that on the wider world stage, or with all of us in some regard, things can be blown very much out of proportion. All right, I don't know what's going on the wider world stage. Last week we had a really intense sort of shaky week as well. This week it's really, it looks like there's a little bit more of the same. Where you are a part of that, you need to be sort of quite clear. All right, so you got to be really honest with yourself about, where am I feeding into this? Okay, where is it that I'm kind of getting in my own way in some regard? Where is it that I'm perpetuating the problem? Where is it that I'm allowing things to be blown out of proportion, or undoing the blowing out of proportion? All right, so this gate 15 card, it's a love gate, according to the deck designer, Denise. She talks about this as being about the love of and for humanity, which is beautiful, right? So this could be enhancing for all of our relationships, but it does also suggest that in some regard, the world, or our world, right, because each person is a mini universe, could be taking things way beyond context, way out of context as well. Watch out for this week, especially off the back of last week. I feel like it's likely that this is like a part 2 of whatever was taking place then. So watch out for context, all right? Make sure that you do your due diligence around that. When it comes to our, so this is the Destiny card for our direction cards. We have the Page of Pentacles. So finding small but practical ways to assimilate the information that you've got, and also to dissipate some of the intensity might be a way forward. We've got the Knight of Wands, breaking away from your sort of, I don't want to say your traditions, but breaking away from your ingrained patterns this week might be one of the ways for you to succeed. And you've got this with the King of Cups. So in this deck, this king is all about opulence. It's all about opulence. You earn everything. If you know, then you know. That King of Cups, especially with the Knight of Wands, there's a sense here that you're pushing out, like you're pushing away from or releasing the ideas of what is acceptable. What I mean by this is, like this week, it looks like you're breaking away, even if it's just on a really small scale to start with, you're breaking away from this idea that I have to be grateful with what I have and that is it. Like, don't get me wrong, gratitude, if you've been with me long enough, you know gratitude is my jam, right? I bang on about it 24/7 because truly getting into my gratitude practice is what changed my life. Like, and I will never say that it didn't. And that's for everything, right? I got into the habit of being grateful for even the challenges, but the chance to change the things that were wrong in my life as well, right? When I say like I did that, okay? So I will always bang on about it. But this is breaking away from this idea that, oh, well, earning this much is my ceiling, or living this life is as good as it's going to get, or, well, we're not from an educated family, so we just have to go to work. School and college and university isn't for us, right? Whatever the stories are, whatever the yoke of the family have enriched or nourished you with, and they have to a degree, even with those challenging thoughts, right? This is where you break away from them. This week you are kind of saying, you know what, I'm going to transcend this. And in terms of, you know, blowing things out of proportion, it's not that you have to kind of just leave and be like, I will never darken your doorstep again. Like, do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be all of that. It's just, okay, you know what? Mum, dad, cousin, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, you know, Julie, Paul, Simon, you know, whatever your names are or whatever the case might be. Thank you for reminding me of where we come from, but that doesn't sit right with me anymore. I don't feel like I need to accept that. I'm going to transcend it. And there is a chance to do that this week for sure. Or you can just be overly theatrical and dramatic about it. He says, right, and just kind of leave it there. But I know which one is preferable, right? And if there's already an air of blowing things out of proportion this week, be the person who goes against the grain. On the wider world stage, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some developments around the education sector, specifically. So in the UK, we call it we got into calling it preschool. We used to call it nursery, right? So this is like before you go to school, and then when you're in the we used to call it first school or primary school, right? I think in the US you guys call it kindergarten. All of those younger ages, I think there's going to be a lot of talks about development and a lot of thoughts about the education system in that regard as well. With this King of Cups, usually a water sign male, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, this could be that there are some ideas or supports put in place on a very practical level for families, specifically families that have children or young children. So that's good because they don't seem to get any help, right? It's like, oh, well, you're fully abled and you're fully bodied and you've got kids and you're adults. Yeah, excellent. You find a way to deal with it. It's brutal. It really is. And I advocate for all people regardless, because I know what it is to be somebody who nobody advocates for. You got to remember, I am a mixed race, gay, pagan male, right? Once you hit 19, nobody gives a shit, right? Quite frankly, I can tell you that from personal experience. As soon as 18 had gone, it was like nobody cared. Like literally nobody cared. Whatever I was facing, whatever I was dealing with, there was no support, right? And at this point, I'm 39, I'll be 40 next year, and still looking fucking good for it, baby. Right? A little bit of sass for you there. Jokes aside, now it's brilliant, right? Like there's all these support groups and there's mental health and there's, we're opening up on really big, important conversations and topics. When I was younger, 20 years ago, we didn't have that, right? We didn't have any of that. It was just kind of like, well, there's nothing wrong with you, so get to it, son. Right? That was kind of it. So, yeah, anyway, I know what it's like to be a part of a group of people that nobody cares about. All right, for all of this stuff, these developments around families with young children and people that need support but are deemed sort of, well, you're able-bodied and well, so you're not going to get any help. I think that's going to change this week, and I think it's a really good thing. For our insight cards, whoa, okay, so look at this, right? King of Cups, King of Chalices. The King of Cups has come up twice, so my money is, on the wider world stage, a water sign male, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, is going to feature for all of us in some regard. For this, we've also got the Eight of Swords, and we've also got the... we've also got the Queen of Wands, right? So, on a microcosmic level, this is about using your creative or intuitive skills not only to set boundaries, but also to dig into something for the long haul, right? Now, with this Gate 15 and Humanity card, the chances are here that this might be some form of an investment. Now, that could be your time, it could be your money, it could be your resources, it could also be an idea that you seed. But whatever it is that you're doing this as part of a collaborative effort. You're not doing it alone. All of these cards suggest that people, families, interpersonal connections of all kinds are a part of this. And it's like whatever is seeded this week, whatever you start to sort of work on or work towards, it will be a long time to see results, but the results will absolutely be worth it. All right. The other way that this could also show up is the Queen of Wands is usually a fire sign woman, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This could be a lot of talks or considerations around the creative industries and sectors on the wider world stage. And I actually think this might be another protest around we had all of the writers guilds and stuff, like they came together to protest, and the smaller role actors, the ensemble actors, really back them up. And it's true, it's ridiculous. Like, yes, okay, fine, the main stars are the people that bring the names in, but if it was just them, can you imagine watching a Marvel film with just the main cast? Like, it would be ridiculous. Can you imagine watching, I don't know, Station 19 or Grey's Anatomy with literally just 4 characters, right? The people that are walking in the background, the people that lie on the thing, the people that play the smaller parts within the episodes themselves. Without all of those people, without all of us, right, it doesn't work. So it's important that they stood up to say, hey, listen, we deserve to be paid fairly. We deserve to be treated fairly, right? We shouldn't have to be explaining this shit in 2024, quite frankly. So, go figure. That's the wider world stage. On the personal level, as I said, it's like whatever you're seeding right now, you're using your creative or your intuitive faculties to put an idea forward or to start working on or towards something. But that 8 of Swords is you're in it for the long haul. If you're looking for fast results this week, I'm really sorry to tell you, but they're not here. All right, think long term, right? This is a week for you to think in months. It's a week for you to think in years. It's a week for you to think in 5 to 10 years, right? If you can think in the broader picture of things and where they're going, you might get a little bit less freaked out by whatever on the wider world stage is being blown out of proportion. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.